Hello! As LEGO's releases of sequel trilogy related sets winds down, I found that I had just a couple things left over that I just hadn't gotten to, and this is one of them. It's the BrickHeadz 2-pack with the Rise of Skywalker version of Kylo Ren, still with Hood and his repaired helmet, and the Sith Trooper. Now, BrickHeadz are obviously designed to have a certain look to them that's common from one to the next, and the designers on the BrickHeadz team have improved their techniques and gotten access to newer parts over the time that they've been doing these things, but ultimately the core underneath there has stayed pretty much the same for the years that they've been doing these. What changes most is in the head itself and the surface textures. What I like here with this Kylo Ren is what they've done with the hood, because they've got an actual physical depth into it. There's not just a suggestion of depth for the hood, but that goes pretty deep back in there. And they even used gray pieces to kind of highlight it a little bit. Sorry, it's a little bit difficult to see with black on black, but yeah, there's real depth to the face behind the hood. I think that's done pretty nicely. It's a little bit flat on the front, but I mean, that's just kind of part of the style of BrickHeadz. You know, they're supposed to be blocky, but there's a certain roundness to this that's somewhat uncommon as viewed from the front, but then just kind of grabs back onto its fundamental style. And there's also a little bit of kind of a forward rake to this. That's probably my favorite thing about this one, is that it seems to capture Adam Driver's stance. You know, as Kylo Ren, he was always kind of standing with his head forward of his center of gravity. That was kind of one of his things. And his arms, as he walked, one would be forward and then one would be back, kind of trailing behind. And I feel like, I don't know if it was intentional, but there's something subtle here that seems to capture that. Also, the little folds of the extra wide cloak around here on the side, I like that. Of course, he's got his lightsaber, the same minifig lightsaber blade and the fixed up black hilt, the newer one, second generation one. But overall, I mean, I think it captures the look of the dude pretty well. 3 printed pieces, no stickers used here. I think they're fine. It's a little bit too bad that there couldn't be a little bit more definition for the visor portion of it. But from most angles, the way the light hits it, I think it works out. So yeah, this works for me. There are a few places where you can see some of the underlying colors. There's a little bit of brown that shows through right there and some gray that shows through right there. I wish those weren't as obvious, but other than that, this displays pretty well for what it is, you know. And then with the Sith Trooper, the highlight for me is this nice little chain of 3 printed pieces used for the front. They are so important, and I'm glad that the production work is good there. Like, there's a nice offset on this 1x4 curved piece that's used for mostly for the visor section. The print is very, very close to the bottom edge of that. You know, you don't have a big gap there. So this looks really good. This looks better than it would have if it was stickered, unless, you know, the person applying the stickers didn't do it as instructed per Lego, but went all the way to the edge. But for printing, this works out pretty well. The lines are pretty crisp. There's just a little bit of offset here. Like it kind of came in at a slight angle just to the edge. Really, really nitpicking there. But overall, these 3 pieces stacked up on top of each other with the prints totally make this figure. Again, some people don't like the look of BrickHeadz. I totally get that, totally understand that, agree with that. But I think that for a Sith Trooper in BrickHeadz form, this is really good. I think this is a better Sith Trooper than the other one is a Kylo Ren. But yeah, overall, another one that I think does its job really, really well. And of course, that bright color scheme of the Sith Troopers. Forget how they were used or not used in the movie, and you know, any story behind them, whether that makes particular sense or whatnot. I just think they look super cool, and this captures a lot of that in this blocky form. Leftover pieces, well, there are very, very few. The highlight here being the black lightsaber hilt. BrickHeadz still go for $10 US each, so this pack of 2 is $20. And the price to part ratios for these sets varies quite a bit based on how much detail is required to create the full build for one character. So don't look at that so much. Look at the totality of what you get in one of these, I still feel like the value is pretty respectable for these, and I'm a little bit surprised and very glad that they haven't raised the price for these. I think that demand for them hasn't been off the charts, so that's probably helped to keep the price down or prevented them from raising the price. If you like the style, I think this was a good pack to get. Even if you're not a huge sequel trilogy fan, but you do like Star Wars, at least this guy is just really cool looking. And I mean, Ren fully done up is not bad to look at. Even if you didn't care for some of the points of the story, I still think this makes for a cool little display model, a cool pair. Not much else to say about it, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.